Hello everybody and welcome back to a new video. I am Pat from Pat's Path Predictor, and in this video I want to really touch upon something that I've seen a lot of people talking about and everything like that with the recent winter storm that hit DC and everything. I know a lot of people have been asking, well, yeah, we're under a storm warning, and we're under a winter weather advisory or winter storm watch. But what does that even mean in depth? Like, what does it mean to be under a winter storm warning? What does it mean to be under a winter weather advisory? Like, what's the criteria to that? Like, what's co- what constitutes that? And in this video, I want to explain it to those folks who may not know about it. So just a little bit more in depth, so we can just talk. So people back who watch this video kind of know what to look out for. For example, if you're getting if you're getting X amount of snow, what is it going to constitute? Is it going to be a winter weather advisory or a winter storm warning? So we're going to go ahead and talk about. But before we do, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on those notifications for more videos like these. It really helps out the channel. It really helps me make more videos out for you. And with that being said, let's continue right into this. So this is the winter. This is basically the criteria right here. Let's start with the winter weather advisory, and we'll get to let's start with the winter weather advisory right here. So basically, it's basically a winter weather advisory. Just in depth is basically this is the criteria right here. The definition of a winter weather advisory is just there's going to be some snow falling down and everything like that. That's basically just not basically it's not constituting the warning, but it is a good amount of snow to issue a weather related bulletin. So this is the criteria right here. Snow of 3 to 5 inches in 12 hours. So if it snows 4 inches of snow from between 4 p.m. and 4 a.m., that constitutes a winter weather advisory. Sleet of less than a half an inch, which sleet is no joke. That can cause a lot of issues. Freezing rain with sleet or slash snow, or just blowing snow in general. Like basically, if it snowed for example, if it snowed a foot in one area, but the winds are really pick up and start blowing snow around and everything like that could constitute the winter weather advisory, because it may seem like it's snowing, and the travel conditions may not be the best, except no, it's just being blown around by the wind a lot. So yeah. Also in a winter weather advisory, basically the conditions, snow isn't particularly it doesn't particularly either last that long, or if it's not particularly that heavy. So travel conditions and winter weather advisories aren't necessarily terrible, but I would still advise caution if you're out on the road, especially after what happened on I-95 the other day with the DC storm. Really it really shows you that just you have to be prepared for anything at that point, if and everything. So with that being said, let's continue. Now we're going to go ahead and talk about the winter storm warning and winter storm watch. We'll talk about the warning, then we'll talk about the watch. I know that kind of sounds a little convoluted, because hey, isn't a watch a little bit less severe than a warning is? Well, that's true, but there is criteria for the winter storm watch that is not actually touched upon by what you see on kind of on the screen. I mean, it's kind of in the text. We'll talk about that in a second. A winter storm warning, it's basically just consists of heavy. It basically is if this basically means if the snow is going to be very heavy, and there's going to be a lot of accumulation from it. For instance, as you can see right here, a heavy snow of 6 inches in 12 hours or 8 inches of 24 hours, whichever is the criteria. So if a winter storm warning is issued for 36 hours and you're expecting 8 inches of snow in that period of time, well, actually that's not a good example right there. If it's issued between 12 p.m. and 12 a.m. and you get 6 inches of snow in that period of time, then that's constitutes a winter storm warning. If it's 12 a.m. to the 12 a.m. the next day, you're expected to get 8 inches of snow, you are still basically just calls for a winter storm warning at that point. or sleet of a 1/2 inch or more. Once again, sleet is no joke. It's a particularly big issue when it comes to this stuff and everything. Winter storm warnings right here. Like say for example, you're in a winter storm warning. Just you don't basically, let's just say for instance that you're expecting in the next day or so 6 inches of snow in 24 hours. That would not be in the criteria for a winter storm warning because it requires 6 inches of snow in 12 hours or 8 inches in 24 hours. But sometimes that can't. But sometimes there is a caveat to that because there have been times where like we've gotten winter storm. I've gotten winter storm warnings where I'm at, and it's just 6 inches of snow in 24 hours. There's been times like that and everything. So it's just basically to put it simply to you guys, if you're expecting 6 inches of snow or more, you're expect a winter storm warning. If you're expecting 3 to 5 less than 6 inches, you expect a winter weather advisory. That's just cut, paste, plain and simple. Now we're gonna go ahead and talk about the watch because this can be a little bit tricky because at this point it can go either way. The winter storm watch. Generally, a watch is just that conditions are favorable for this amount of weather. And the winter storm watch is no exception. It just means conditions are favorable for a winter storm event, which is a threat to life and property, which that's a bit of an extreme way of saying it, but it's true. In some instances, a winter storm watch is usually issued if a snowstorm, if you're getting like 8 inches of snow, it's generally issued about 24 hours before the snowstorm actually hits. So just keep that in mind. Although there have been instances that it's been issued up to 48 hours. Like for example, I know just in some areas when they're expecting like 12 to 18 inches of snow, the watches goes out sometimes can go out 2 days before, depending on how heavy the snow is going to fall and everything like that. I have seen that. I personally have seen a watch issued 36 hours beforehand. Like yeah, 36 hours beforehand, and it just as the snow continued piling, continued this and everything like that. They literally issued a winter storm warning like 24 hours before the event actually happened. It was I remember it just like yesterday. I was talking with friends and everything, and next thing you know, I pull out my phone. I see we're in a winter storm warning, and yeah, and this is issued about a day before this happens. So if a weather event is that significant, if it's very significant, if you're getting like a foot of snow and it's going to be a huge bane to traffic, they're likely going to issue it 24 hours beforehand. So generally, with watches and warnings, that about the amount of time they issue it, there is some gray area. There is some gray area to that. But I'm just here to oversimplify it to you. Now, sometimes the models may shift and the totals may come down, and you're still under the the winter storm watch. Excuse me. Well, in that instance, that generally can mean that they'll issue the winter weather advisory instead of the winter storm warning because the criteria doesn't mean it in the winter storm watch. It just means that conditions are favorable for a potential winter storm event. That's all it means. For example, if you're expecting one day and the models seem pretty consistent with this for several days, 8 inches of snow, and then all of a sudden the storm tracks start making a massive shift away from you. The snow totals evidently will come down to a point where the warning is not warranted. They'll issue the winter weather advisory. That's basically how these kinds of things work. They prepare for anything at that point. So with that being said, I hope that simplifies things for you guys. There are also things like blizzard watches, blizzard warnings, and everything like that that are in there. I'm not going to cover it in this video. I'll make a separate video to cover that criteria because the winter storm warnings and blizzard warnings, they're completely different entities, and I think it's more appropriate to cover them in their own respective videos. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on those notifications for more videos, as well as comment me and ask me questions about criteria about winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings and everything. I'd be more than happy to take the time to answer them. And with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this gave you a little more insight on what constitutes a winter weather advisory and winter storm warning. And with that being said, have a wonderful day. Stay safe, everybody.